makes me never want to try to work in a Korean company again. I could probably eat that at least once a day. That's going to be really hard to explain to my visa officer about why I should continue to be in Korea. It has made me feel a little lonely at times. That was probably one of the reasons that I left Japan. If I'm going to be 100% honest, Korean popular culture. Oh, hey. He saw something. He saw a ghost. He doesn't understand English. I try and raise him bilingually, so maybe that'll help him in his future. But anyway, hi y'all, it's Cameron. As many of you know, I work in TV and radio here in Korea. I get lots of questions about myself and my life, both from Koreans and non-Koreans. We're gonna go over the top 7 questions I probably get the most, and these will range everything from how and why I'm in Korea to what kind of jobs I do in Korea, which, believe me, there are a lot. I will have the timestamps down below, so if there's something in particular you are interested in, you can jump into that. So there is someone I need to introduce to you. It's this guy right here. Look at that. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? Say hello. Hello. This is Simba. Unfortunately, no, he is not my new dog, even though I would love for him to be. He does have a human mommy and daddy. They asked me to look after him, and of course I said yes, because look at that face. Could you say no to a face like this? No, you could not. You want to look at them? Look at him. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. Anyway, so he will be in the background probably going in and out during the video. He'll act as our visual model while I talk about these questions. So Simba, your part is over. You can now go back on the couch if you want, okay? I love you. Okay. Whew. He's heavier than you think. Question number 1. Who am I? My name is Cameron Lee Word, or in the Korean order, Word Cameron Lee. Now that Lee, even though it's my middle name, has absolutely no relation to the Korean last name of Lee, and that causes a lot of confusion over here. If they don't see my face, they maybe think that I'm an American-born Korean, which I'm not. It's a very common middle name in the United States, especially the southern United States. I was born in a small town called El Dorado, Arkansas, but I spent most of my childhood in Alma, Arkansas. Population circa 4,000 while I lived there. It's a very small town. It's known as the spinach capital of the world. And yes, there was a lot of spinach. We had a canning company right in the middle of our town, and every time the spinach harvest came in and they had to boil it down and put it into cans, the entire town smelled like spinach. But they're really proud of it. There is a spinach festival that they hold every year. We have a statue of Popeye in our town square. I was born on November 30th, 1989. I believe I'm 34 in Korean age, and because I have not yet had my birthday this year, I'm still 32 in what they call international age. Oh, are you leaving? You leaving? 다 먹었어? Don't leave. They won't watch me if you leave. Question 2, why did you come to Korea? Oh, this is a complicated question, and maybe it deserves a video in its own right. So if you would be interested in hearing this story, please let me know down below. But the simple story is, I wasn't completely unfamiliar with Korea, but I didn't know too much about it. K-pop wasn't near as mainstream as it became. If you had lived in New York or lived in California, where there are bigger Korean populations, at that time people may have been more aware, but where I was in a small town in Arkansas, it wasn't on a lot of people's minds. In fact, when I told my parents I was going to Korea, they were like, are you going to North or the South? And then I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to the South, of course. And they're like, oh good, they're not the communist ones, right? Now, of course, a lot of that has changed as you've had K-pop and K-dramas and all of that stuff go all over the world. I think people are much more aware of what South Korea as a country is. But at the time, I did feel like I was adventuring into a country that I didn't know too much about. What do I do in Korea? I do a lot. So there are many jobs that you know that I do in front of the camera, but there are a lot of jobs that you probably don't know that I do behind the camera. absolutely not entertainment related. I'm on EBS, where I teach English with shows like Power English, and lately I've been on a new show called Evening Special. Then I also do shows like 필요하시나요 연구소, which is a YouTube channel run by NBC. It's where they have a lot of foreigners come on speaking in Korean, either talking about their own cultures or reacting to things in Korean culture. Those are probably my biggest two high-profile things that I do on a regular basis. Of course, I have a lot of kind of random one-off filmings. I've been on 외국인 before. I've been on some other shows. I just kind of do whatever comes my way. I have been on a lot of different random YouTube channels, but I also work with Mega Study on their elementary education website called ㄱㅜန့, where I teach English to roughly about first grade to third graders. So I'm teaching a lot of phonics, a lot of simple phrases, words, simple pronunciation, all the basics. To be honest, that's probably the biggest thing that I do. It doesn't seem like a big thing because it's not on YouTube and it's not on national broadcast radio like EBS and 필요하시나요 Universe are, but the actual number of kids that are on that website and watching my videos, that's probably the biggest thing that I do. But I also do things behind the camera, such as proofreading. So if there is a script or a book or a website that someone has written and maybe they're not a native English speaker and they need an English speaker, then they will contact me and I'll look over it, make sure all of the punctuation is correct, all of the grammar is right, no weird phrasing is involved. A small thing that I do to be honest, I don't really enjoy doing is translation. So I've done translation before. I actually worked as a Japanese to English translator when I lived in Japan, and I did not like it at all. That was probably one of the reasons that I left Japan, if I'm going to be 100% honest. But on occasion, when either it's a very urgent job or I do need money, I do take on some translation work, but it is not something I do willingly. I'm very resistant to take it on because I don't think I have the right brain structures to translate well. I feel like quality-wise I can get it out, but I can't get it out with good enough quality in a fast enough pace to where it makes sense for me to do it as a job. And then I also, on the rarest of occasions, I also do some private tutoring. Ever since I've started doing a lot of filming and entertainment work, I don't do it as much because it's not easy to keep a tutoring schedule whenever I could have a production team call me at any moment asking me to film a YouTube video for them. It just becomes so difficult to juggle that schedule week after week because it happens all the time. So now I really don't do it. Question number 4. What are some of your favorite things about Korea? Okay, so there are a lot of things that I really like about Korea. One of them being how safe it is, another being the great healthcare here. One of the things I didn't realize I really enjoyed about Korea until I took a visit recently back to the United States, which you can click on a link here to see that vlog that I took, but it's the food culture. And I'm not just talking about the Korean food, which is amazing. It's kind of their approach to food. So this is going to sound a little weird, but the last time I went to America and I ate things like burgers and pasta, I find myself saying I prefer the burger and pasta restaurants that I can find in Korea. It just felt so heavy. It felt like I was climbing a mountain. It was just so difficult to just eat it all. The flavors were so strong. There was no subtlety. There was no subtlety to the food. What are some of my least favorite things in Korea? Are there things I don't like about Korea? Yes, there are. I'm not going to lie and say that there aren't. There aren't many though, but every place has its pros and cons. To be honest, I've learned to live with the things that I don't like as much about Korea because I think they're worth all the positives of Korea. and there is a reason why I have continued to work here. But if I had to say a couple of things about Korea that aren't so wonderful, is meeting friends after the age of, say, 25, 27. So if you come here as a non-Korean and you are an undergrad and maybe you do the whole 4 years here, or even if you are like an exchange student for a year here, I feel that it's very easy for you to make Korean friends. But once you are in graduate school, and especially if you are working, it's very hard to find real long-term friends. You can definitely find people that want to hang out with you, want to go drinking with you, that want to practice their English with you, but finding people that you would call a true friend can be difficult. And that's not because Koreans are not friendly. It's not that they're being mean or they're trying to push you away. It's that they kind of already have their friends. One thing I've noticed here is that Koreans maintain their friends from like elementary school, which is something I don't do. I don't think I talk to a single person, one person that I know from elementary school. And that's only because she and I went all the way to college together. We spent all that time together. But Koreans, they'll have friends that they haven't maybe been to the same school together since 3rd grade, but they've met on regular bases and they still maintain their friendship. They've already got a full social circle. They don't really need more people. If anything, they're so busy, they don't have time to make new friends. It's not impossible for a foreigner to make Korean friends at my age, but it is a lot more difficult. It has made me feel a little lonely at times. Compounded with that, the job that I do doesn't really have a regular schedule. You know, I might have the entire middle of the day open, and then I work from 5 p.m. till midnight or 2 in the morning on a filming. Or I might work on the weekends and have the weekdays off. So I think in that regard, that's probably one of the harder things, is finding Korean friends in Korea, which is a little ironic. What do I miss about America? Nothing. Okay, that's a joke. Are there things that I miss about, are there small things that I miss about the United States? Okay, no, jokes aside, there are a few things. There are not a lot, to be honest. I much prefer my life here in Korea than my life in America by a mile. Something like this is subjective. So it's because it doesn't work for me. It's not because America is inherently a bad place. Someone who had a different personality than me might think the opposite. As far as things I do miss about the United States, all small things. First of all, Reese's peanut butter cups, the big ones, not the small ones, not the nutrageous, but the original Reese's peanut butter cups. Every once in a while I can find them here in Korea, but it is not easy and it is not readily available near as much as it is in the United States. So that is one thing. I can eat them forever. That and Sour Patch Kids. Reese's and Sour Patch Kids. Korea, if you could get those and put them in every single convenience store, that would be great. Also, don't, because I would gain so much weight and it would not be good for my health. And another thing I've noticed, and I'm not really an outdoors person, but I really miss the ease of access to real outdoors here in Korea. I realize if you get out into the countryside, obviously there are woods, there are fields, like there is more nature around you. I've gone hiking before at famous mountains or whatever, and then like it's getting close to dusk and an announcement comes on and says that the mountain is closing. And I feel like a mountain is something that really can't be closed, or shouldn't. That just makes it feel like I'm not actually in nature. Next question. What are my plans in Korea going forward? Well, hopefully I can continue to do the jobs that I'm doing. Otherwise, that's going to be really hard to explain to my visa officer about why I should continue to be in Korea. I would also hopefully be able to make this YouTube thing into a part-time maybe full-time job as well. There's a reason that I didn't mention YouTube in the jobs section earlier, because this isn't a job. It's work, but it's not a job because I'm making no money from it. I'm actually in the hole at the moment because I bought the camera, I bought the lights, I bought the mics, I bought the editing software, I bought the background music, but I, as of yet, haven't made any money. I'm not monetized. Anyone who does YouTube will know that if you are monetized, it takes 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time before YouTube will start letting you put ads on your videos and making money from that. I'm not even actually anywhere near, but hopefully in the future, I will be able to do this because I do really enjoy being able to talk to you, talking about the messages that I want to talk about. And if you'd like to help with that, any type of interaction where you write a comment, like, hit the subscribe button or the alarm, it tells the YouTube algorithm that this is good content and it'll push it out to more people. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I really have no plans to leave Korea unless they kick me out or for whatever other reason I don't have money and I have to leave. But for the time being, 10, 20 years, I really don't see myself leaving unless something changes in my situation. What does my house look like? Well, that is something that you can check out in the video here or here. We gotta take our final walk for the night. If you have any other questions that you would like me to answer, maybe in another video, please write them down below. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Say bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.